I saw Spider-Man, Brand New Day last night and wanted to give my thoughts on it. I was privileged enough to see Spider-Man, Brand New Day last night. Although I couldn't upload my thoughts or review right away because I got home at midnight and had work the next morning, I finally have enough time to write down my thoughts and post them here. There will be spoilers, so don't read any further if you don't want to be spoiled. First, Marvel needs to bring back Destin Daniel Cretton for another Spider-Man film. I don't care what Marvel pays him. He needs to come back. This man has done nothing but drop absolute banger after banger. He gave us Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. He gave us Wonder Man, R.I.P., and now Spider-Man, Brand New Day. This movie deserves more critical acclaim. I don't know what the critics were smoking when they called it boring at times, but they need to get their ears checked. This film belongs in the same tier as Spider-Man 2 and the Spider-Verse movies. It is that good. One thing I loved about this film is how much it feels like a love letter to the Insomniac Spider-Man video games. I literally recognized multiple combos from the games in several fight scenes. It was so awesome to spot those moves and hear people cheering in the theater. I was surrounded by a room full of Spider-Man fans, and you could definitely tell. I'm also going to make a controversial claim. I think the fight scenes in this film rival the ones from the Sam Raimi movies. What I loved is that usually when superheroes fight in movies, they just use their powers to enhance their punches. It's actually pretty rare for superheroes and supervillains to get distinct fighting styles that complement their abilities rather than the other way around. The train fight sequence from Spider-Man 2 is the closest comparison. Spider-Man had his acrobatics and agility, Hulk had his rage and pure power, and Punisher had his gun fu. It was so fun to see them all demonstrate unique styles, which made these set pieces incredible. This movie also feels really close in spirit to the Raimi films, especially Spider-Man 2. Both films feature Peter struggling with his personal life while trying to be Spider-Man full-time. Spider-Man 2 took the cynical route, showing Peter wanting to give up his heroic duties, whereas Brand New Day takes the optimistic route. Peter is loved as Spider-Man, but he feels crushingly lonely due to having no meaningful connections or intimate relationships. That was a really smart direction because it taps right into the post-COVID landscape, where so many people struggle to make real connections and face crippling loneliness. It feels deeply relevant to today. Now for the supporting cast: Hulk, Punisher, MJ, Yelena Belova, and Jean Grey. On paper, that sounds like the weirdest mashup for a Spider-Man film, and yet it works. They all complement each other exceptionally well and fit the core themes of loneliness, isolation, and connection. Florence Pugh as Yelena continues to be one of the best casting decisions Marvel ever made. Her sauna scene is absolute perfection, and you can tell Florence loves playing this character. The audience cheered when she showed up. I'm going to make a bold claim and say that Florence Pugh's Yelena is a better Black Widow than Scarlett Johansson's Natasha. She just brings so much more personality to the screen. To be honest, I think The Winter Soldier was Scarlett's best appearance. I also found it hilarious when Yelena brought up online shipping and superhero fan art, which would obviously be rampant in that universe. Spider-Man mentioning fan art of himself alongside 10 Mysterios had the whole theater dying of laughter. This movie had a lot of self-awareness. A college student bringing up how Thanos could have simply doubled the universe's resources instead of wiping out half of all life was brilliant meta-commentary. Moments like that made the movie truly special. I'll go out on a limb and say this is easily the best version of Hulk we've seen in the MCU since The Incredible Hulk in 2008. The entire theater screamed at the top of their lungs when he said, "No Banner, only Hulk." His fight scene with Spider-Man was amazing because this Hulk felt like the most comic-accurate iteration yet. People forget that Hulk isn't just raw strength. He's a brutal fighter, remarkably fast for his size, and capable of clever tactics. You can tell Destin is a genuine fan of the character, as he had Hulk show off his signature thunderclap and destroy a gauntlet mid-air. Honestly, this version of Hulk probably still would have lost to Thanos, but Thanos would have taken a serious beating first. Mark Ruffalo was also wonderful as Banner, sweet and gentle. It's arguably the best portrayal of the character in over a decade. The fact that this movie implies the end of Smart Hulk makes it even sweeter. This was also the best version of the Punisher outside of his original appearance in the Daredevil series. He was a bit lighter and softer here, yet he still felt like the exact same character. He was still an asshole, still haunted by references to his dead family, and still trigger happy. He clearly viewed his crusade as a curse that would inevitably get him killed. But it was so good to see him experiencing moments of happiness. You can tell John Bernthal and Tom Holland are great friends in real life because their on-screen chemistry was glorious. I loved getting glimpses of how Frank Castle used to be before his family died. Happier and a bit goofier. I also appreciated that this Punisher felt closer to his early comic appearances, where he only goes after truly evil bastards, doesn't want anyone following in his footsteps, and would gladly give up his crusade to see his family again. Unlike the borderline serial killer anti-hero he became in modern comics. The slight deconstruction, where he misses a shot and accidentally hits Spider-Man, was a great touch. Even the best marksman in the world can miss and endanger an innocent person. I loved his portrayal. Then we have Sadie Sink's Jean Grey. This is arguably the best live-action version of Jean outside of the comics, and we've only seen her in one movie. Sadie endows Jean with a massive amount of personality. She's also a total asshole, with a very prominent dark side for most of the film, acting far crueler than you'd normally expect from her. This is probably the first version of Jean where I can say, yep, the Dark Phoenix transformation makes total sense now. It's also the first time I can see why she and Logan get along so well. Her mind-hopping abilities were executed wonderfully, and the scene where she paralyzes New York was stunning. I was particularly impressed by the extras acting as Jean's mouthpieces. They actually managed to sound like her by mimicking her voice inflections. The reveal regarding VMAX and John's sister was heartbreaking once you realized her mission was doomed from the start. I also loved the Stranger Things homage where she runs in slow motion. I was half expecting Kate Bush's music to start playing. I can't wait to see her in the MCU's X-Men film. Surprising as it is to admit, this is also my favorite performance from Zendaya as MJ. She brought so much personality to the role while keeping it consistent with her previous appearances. I deeply respect that the writers didn't take the easy way out by having MJ magically remember Peter. The most heartbreaking moment occurs when MJ admits she doesn't love him because she simply doesn't know him anymore. You could feel the entire audience's hearts shatter at that line. It's almost ironic that Zendaya delivered a stronger performance in an MCU film than in her Christopher Nolan appearance, though that movie was admittedly packed with stars. No disrespect to Nolan, just my opinion. William Metzger was a solid, hateable villain. The actor portrayed the full-of-it government official who pretends to help while secretly pursuing his own agenda. Archetype amazingly well. I only have a few minor complaints. First off, why is an ancient, immortal ninja clan like the Hand working alongside a U.S. government agency in broad daylight? Second, why isn't the Punisher being actively hunted by every law enforcement agency in the country? The man likely has a body count in the thousands by now. Yet most people don't seem to mind or even fear him. He even waits around in a hospital without anyone attempting an arrest. Those were my only real gripes. Ultimately, this is easily one of the best Spider-Man films ever produced and one of Marvel's finest entries of the 2020s. Amazing film. I can't wait to see Avengers, Doomsday this December,